Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of our Kentum playthrough. Today's episode has a lot baked into it. There are quite a few recipes on the crafting tree that I unlock, and I also visit both a new area in the jungle and a new area in the hive, scan a couple of new creatures, and overall really progress further into the game. Now, I do want to mention there's a lot of skipping back and forth because, there's a lot of going out to collect materials and stuff and coming back, and I cut all that from the video so that you wouldn't have to, watch me do that. So the video is about 24-ish minutes long, but in reality I recorded about an hour and a half of gameplay, so that should give you some idea of how long it takes to get some of these things. Here I was kind of determining what to do next. So I feel that fast charge is, doable. It needs things that I have access to already. I also realize that the bioluminescence has to be grabbed earlier rather than later. The rest of the upgrades I don't really feel are necessary at the moment. I don't need a faster vacuum. I have no problems with the current speed of the one. Rocco is fine. I use it sporadically. Hollow Shield, I'll never use it at all. And the Clutcher right now, I need a longer length, but that's also not important. As far as my own upgrades are concerned, enhancements, I already have the pack, and the rest of the things are a little bit out of my reach because I don't have unlocked that particular part of the crafting tree yet. So my next step is to make my charge attack charge quicker. Then my next step also is to get clay going. Get ceramics going, and then the bioluminescence. So I have 3 things that I'm going to be working on in this episode that I need to work towards. The good news is I already, have enough materials after a little break and then going out and collecting things to make that the bioluminescence, the Lumen core. I have that ready to go. So big step in the next part of the crafting tree because it is required for a certain number of things. That unfortunately left me low in cognitive fluid type B, so I had to go and do some more collecting of materials and back and forthing between things and waiting for that to be done. But now it's done, and I'm able to craft ceramic right away from clay in the kiln. Now the only issue is that clay cannot be found everywhere. It's only in certain places, and there's an abundance of it in the hive. But I also need to collect more materials to be able to craft the next piece of upgrade for my staff. So there's some things I need to do to go out and collect prior to being able to finish what I want to finish this episode. I am also very interested in crafting the Kent Cube, and the Kent Cube, as you can see, I am actually almost there. I just need osseous cubes and mucilage, and then I need to collect enough and I need the bioluminescence, which I just got. So that's really why I was working towards all these next steps, is because I want to work towards the Kent Cube as quickly as possible to start the next phase of exploration. However, like I said, in today's game, we visited the jungle, and I visited the trash jungle. If you go, down instead of up, as we've done before, this is a whole brand new area. I had already scanned these creatures. You might be noticing something peculiar. Creatures dead, that platform disappeared. So this is actually a clue. These creatures, when you're holding on to them, or when they get close to a certain area, they cause shifts in the topography of the game. If they're close, the red ones tend to go up. And if they're far, these blue ones tend to go up. You can see how it's working out, right? It's going up and down, and you're like, well, what's causing it? Well, if there's nobody in the vicinity, look at that. Such a cool feature, I think. I don't remember a game that had done this before. There must have been one or another, but that was such a cool feature, I thought. So now you can grab those creatures. I just unlocked my hyper unnoticeable t-shirt, by the way. I'm probably gonna put that on with some jeans next time I'm at the base. So if you notice, it depends on a lot of things to be able to move things up and down. So here we go. First clue. I can't get past this. I was hitting things. I said, maybe I have to do a mega smash. I said, wait a minute. I remember that those little things were making the blue and red things go up and down by proximity. So I said, "What? I wonder what happens if I bring this over here." Well, bingo! As long as I'm holding onto the creature, those go down or go up accordingly, right? That's such a cool feature. Such a cool feature. So I'm in a new area now, and there's new enemies that spit fire at you, acid blobs, coral spitters, which I was not too happy about. I backed off and I said, "Okay, well, hold on, let me go figure some other things out because that took a big chunk of my health away from me, and I didn't want to continue exploring and lose the stuff that I had been collecting along the way." But I guess I happened to be a bit of a daredevil. I said, "Yeah, you know what? How bad could it be? I'll figure some out. I can kill him and I can get some plasma droplets, which you also need, by the way, to make the bioluminescence. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. You do need to kill these creatures, but don't destroy them all because you need at least one to get over to the next area." But then I started to wonder what other things I can do with these creatures, because you can see that the top part of this area is... That was so funny. I was trying to figure out what happened, what time, what things occurred, right? And if I killed it, what happened, and all that stuff. Again, that was a fantastic thing I discovered here, and I thought it was really cool. And I said, "Okay, well, cool. I can just dash across. It's not a problem." And, oh, I need one of the blue things. So I'm going to go grab one and then come back up. Not a problem at all. So yeah, that's this area going, below where the monolith is, and not going to the right, but going down. That actually makes a whole bridge appear. I didn't need it, but you'll see right now what happens. So as I'm carrying this creature around, a bridge starts appearing. And I said, "Excuse me?" And the bridge just keeps appearing as long as you're holding on to the creature, which I thought was really cool. And there's another spitter again, and I took one in the face. I gotta get better at dodging those. I'll come back next episode to this area and kind of try to figure things out. But, right, I can't do that. So, trying to figure out at what time can you let go, what time can you grab on, those kinds of things I thought added a whole new element to the gameplay for Kentum, and I was very appreciative of that because it was getting kind of repetitive. But now having this little situation unfold where I have to be carrying this creature around in order to make platforms appear or get rid of them and disappear. And these are the new creatures I ran into. Looks like a spider carrying something. It says blind trasher. But since I was so low on life, I didn't bother continuing on. I'll do that the next episode. In fact, I'll probably dedicate the entire episode to exploring this area. But here's something I thought was really cool too. I wondered, well, if I'm dashing, I wonder if I can just use my Rocco and it'll automatically go. I was like, you know what? The answer is yes. So I thought this was a really cool addition to the game. Makes me able to traverse quickly to one side of the area to the other. I didn't explore the bottom part of this area. So I said, okay, well, I think I need to do a little bit more exploration here once I recover some of my health and figure the next piece out. Especially, I thought that I was gonna need to upgrade my staff to do more to do that power up quicker, so that I could feel more comfortable coming into this area, full of food, grab some potions, and then come back here in time. But yeah, I hope you were as surprised as I was when I went there. It was a welcome surprise. So I went back home. Really, my purpose to go back home was to deposit everything that I've been collecting. I didn't want to lose it, and to regain my health, so I could keep progressing through what I want to do today, which was, again, I wanted to make sure I unlocked bioluminescence. I've done that, but I wanted to make sure I unlocked the quicker charge for my attack. So if you've been following along until now, you'll notice that I'm collecting items and getting stuff rolling now. Here's an issue with automated recipes, is that you can only have one active at a time. So it depends on what you want to make. For that particular moment, you can start making a bunch of them. Now, however, each machine has a limit of how much they can store once it's made. So keep that in mind. So for example, you can't put in 50 barleys and have all that malted barley accumulate there. The machine just won't. It'll stop. until you pick up the items. And I've been seeing some reports in the Discord that if you have a claw that's picking things up and dropping it on the floor, you can all of a sudden have like hundreds of items on the floor, which causes a game to start lagging because the memory consumption starts going haywire because all those items aren't disappearing, right? So they're accumulating in your base. So just, again, keep that in mind, right? So after healing a bit, I decided to go venture out to finish building more ceramics. So I need a couple of more ceramics. So I said, okay, well, the hive has a lot of clay. I know that. And so I'm going to go do that. But while I'm here, I figured I might as well collect everything that I saw. And I discovered something interesting regarding those little creatures there. So similar to how you can kill the birds by grabbing them and throwing them, some of those creatures have spikes on their back. And you can grab them and throw them and they'll die with one hit. So that was, that was good to find out and learn about. Just be careful because I don't know what determines if they hurt you or not. I threw some a couple of times and I had no problems killing them. But then others I grabbed and they hurt me. So, like the electric lizards. So I wasn't sure. I haven't figured out yet what causes that particular interaction for it to tick. Bones are going to be the next thing I'm going to have an issue with. See, that one I had no problems with. I grabbed it and I threw it. That one I had no problems with. Then you're going to see me take damage a couple of times. And yeah, you can throw them at each other, which I thought was really cool too. Now the Hive has proven to be vast. I'm going to use that word right now. Similar to the jungle, how big that biome is, right? So that was interesting, I thought. Especially because as I started exploring more, again, I needed more clay. So I said, well, I'm already here. I might as well. There we go. See, I took damage when I threw it. Not there. So I don't know if it wiggles out and that hurt me. I'm really not sure. I'm still not sure. But I said, okay, well, I'll explore some more areas of the hive now that I have the glider, and I can maybe reach some areas that I hadn't before. And I said, well, I know I've seen these areas before because they're unlocked on my map, right? But then I'm wondering, well, what else can I access that I haven't been able to access on the map? And the answer was here. I had not been to this area before. And there it hurt me again. Right? Big mystery as to why that's occurring. And I don't like that. I don't like having that kind of a mystery. Especially when it comes to creatures doing damage to you. And these creatures do, a little bit of chip damage, but they can get pretty nasty. I discovered this was interesting. Throwing those shells against the wall gave me crystallized mucilage, which you need. I needed. I 100% need. You can see there on my screen. Right? It's something that I need. Funny thing is throwing that travels the entirety of the way until it hits something and breaks. So you'll see right now when I reach the end of this level where the crystallized mucilage ended up. It was pretty funny. So this entire area is new. See, it hit me. The one did, but this one didn't. Again, I keep harping on it, but it's so inconsistent. So that's where the shells ended up landing. And then here, it's pretty dark, and I fell down, and I was like, what the hell? This is a new area. I hadn't been here either before. That's a new plant. I didn't scan it because you'll see I started losing a ton of life, unfortunately, and I kind of had to scurry away because I didn't want to lose the clay I came to get. Kind of makes it hard when the entire purpose that you're here is to grab something of a certain material. And if you die, you lose that material. Well, then, yeah, that was bad. Landed on spikes, I got hit to another spike. I had nothing to cure me. I had no potions. Any sort of contact would have hurt me. I came really close a couple of times to landing on things. I said, oh my god, I can't see below me what I'm landing on. So I guess I'll have to glide down and hope for the best and not land on spikes. You can't see the spikes on the minimap. So super nervous trying to get through this area without taking any bit of damage because I had no way to heal. And, I was like, oh, maybe I'll eat a banana. that didn't help. So luckily I'm able to, I wanted to use a Rocco, but look, right there. I'm glad at least my reaction times are still good in my old age. That I was able to successfully jumped that and not die, because I was about to die. Good news is I wasn't that far away from the entrance. I could have come back and gotten what I needed. But, what a hassle. But, I'm pretty much done now with the next big piece, which is unlocking the rest of the ceramics so I can get the faster charge. And you'll see me when I unlock it how much quicker it is. It goes from like a 2-second charge to a half a second charge. So you could potentially hit once, charge, hit, and it comes out at the same speed as a normal attack. I thought that was... I think that actually adds more damage probably than trying to unlock the other stuff, but it's so missable because it's at the very end. So I was like, wait a minute, am I supposed to have all this other stuff unlocked already prior to getting to here? I don't know. I just know that the way I've played the game so far, this next step is what's available to me. Maybe the way you guys are playing the game, other upgrades are available to you first. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious. Because like I said before, I'm playing the game a certain way, and everybody plays games differently. So if you're experiencing a different progression of the crafting tree through the game, I want to hear about it. I want to know what you guys are doing. Simply because it helps me understand a little bit more of a different way to go through the game than how I'm currently doing things now. The good news is that, like I said, my progression, I think so far has been pretty good. I'm not playing the game for hours and hours on end. A lot of my time is spent going out to collect materials and bring them back for crafting purposes. Not necessarily exploring anymore. After the first couple of episodes we did that, but today definitely was an exploration and finishing things up kind of day. And like I said, my goal is to next go to the trash area and explore that thoroughly on my next episode. So I am going to stock up on potions prior to doing that. So yeah, now I have enough for the upgrade, and I found it exciting. So you can see right now I got fast charge, and look how fast I charge. Done. Easy, right? One attack, charge, hit. I think that's so cool. I think that makes it so much easier. And then I'm really interested in unlocking my next health upgrade. I think that's going to be my next bigger one that I go after. But then the Kent Cube, I'm almost done there, right? You need geranium sheets, which I can get easily, cubes, which I can get easily, and the bioluminescence, which I can get because I just need a workshop in order to craft it. And I have the capability of building a workshop. And I got kind of excited because I said, oh, the workshop's going to be built. That means I'm going to be able to get drills. And I said, perfect. I'm going to need a lot of clay, it looks like, for ceramics. So, yeah, let's do that, right? So next episode, watch, if you want to explore the jungle with me, I'm going to try to unlock the next phase, which is the Kent Cube. But I think really my goal is to explore that jungle and unlock the Kent Cube at the end. So you need the plasma droplets, and those drop from those creatures in that underground area anyway. So I said, oh, perfect. I'll go do that. Collect that. I have my electric cap farm going too. You can see that electric caps are required a lot, even in more advanced recipes. Small bones can be obtained from fighting creatures in the immediate underground, so I'm not too worried about collecting enough of that. And I have been constantly producing geranium ingots because I knew that sheets were going to become a bottleneck, and lo and behold, it paid off. That's all I'm going to say. It paid off, and I'm really happy about that. So yeah, what's on the menu, right? Fauna research, dish stacking 2, Kent Cube is on the docket. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm going on. Most of these things are now hidden behind cognitive fluid type C. Some stuff is not, but I kind of don't really care to build it. The fauna research I do want to do because I'm interested in what that unlocks. And then, yeah, Kent Cube is next. The electric torch, I thought about it. I don't need it. Maybe I will, but right now I don't feel like it's causing any sort of problems. The darkness when I go in and explore, so I'm going to forego it for now. I don't think I need it. But I do want to go and unlock the things that I'm currently tracking. And I want to go and unlock the next stage of the monolith. That's another thing. You haven't seen me because I haven't been doing it live, but every time something's about to spoil, if I have enough compost, I book it to the monolith and deposit those things where necessary to slowly advance the next part. And all the cherries that I have, I'm slowly but surely building them into seeds so I can go and deposit those, right? Because fluid type A is no longer as necessary. I had said before it wasn't necessary at all, but I lied because it turns out it was. But it's not as necessary anymore once I got that first layer of recipes done. So we're nearing the end of the episode. To recap, we visited 2 new areas. I mean, we had visited those areas before, but we went further and deeper into them and uncovered some new creatures I need to go and scan, and some new flora that we need to go and scan. I unlocked a bunch of things on the crafting tree, and so we've progressed quite a bit today. And then for next episode, the goal is going to be to explore the jungle and do more there. So yeah, and craft some potions so I don't get instantly killed. I think that's going to be the key. Taking enough potions with me so that I can not get murdered, and then go and explore. Alright, so that's going to do it for me. I'll go ahead and see you on the next one.